Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Maryland Apex Accelerator webinar this morning. Hope everybody is doing well. I am your host today, Yasmin Razak, and I'm the Marketing and Training Coordinator here. Today's topic is how to leverage AI in proposal and capture process improvement, a hot topic that I know that everybody is very excited to learn about. And it is going to be led by David Huff, who is the CEO of OST Global Solutions, Inc. We'll get started very shortly, and you can ask David your questions by typing them in the chat box on your screen. We will pause for Q&A at the end of the presentation. As always, this has been recorded, and you will be provided with a copy of the recording and the slides after the event. For those of you not familiar with the Maryland Apex Accelerator, it's our mission to help Maryland-based businesses compete in federal, state, and local government procurement processes. Our services are no cost to you. So if you need assistance, please complete the application form on our website. Okay, good morning, David. Over to you.
Hey, good morning. Check, check. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we hear you and we can see you. Thank you.
Hi. All right, I'm having some sound issues. Take that microphone away. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right, well, good morning, everybody. Yasmin, thanks for having me. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday and that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Real quick, kind of as AI is becoming more prevalent and as I am talking more and more people and executives and proposal and capture people around the industry, we're finding that a lot of people are not using AI or they are not using it to its to its full potential. So wanted to put this together to kind of share with you some best practices on how to use it and kind of get you thinking about how you can implement AI in your own business development, capture, and proposal processes. And one of the things that I want to go over and kind of emphasize in the beginning is that AI is a tool and a capability. We still, as the humans and the operators of that tool and capability, we still need to know what we're doing. So at least for the near term, humans need to be in the loop, humans need to be driving the thought, and humans need to be evaluating the outcomes to make it better. So we have this tremendous new capability and this tremendous new technology, and I think it's incumbent upon us to figure out how to best use it and how to best integrate it into our companies and to our businesses so that we can succeed. So with that, I'm David Huff. I am the new CEO of Winmore BD. This is an AI platform that I've been working on since March of last year, or I'm sorry, of this year. Prior to that, I was with OST Global Solutions. I've transitioned to a board position there and been fully focused on building this new system that can integrate the latest AI technologies into the capture process. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, so a little bit about us is at OST, we've built a tremendous library of intellectual property, training material, and methodologies that we've used to win over $500 billion in contract value. We've been teaching this for the last, 15 years now to some of the top government contractors in the industry. And we are building it into our system. So we're automating the hardest part of winning contracts, which is the capture process. It's the least well-defined and kind of the least well understood and least how to use AI there. So a lot of the AI platforms that are out there right now can focus on the top of the funnel and getting opportunities in your pipeline, and they can help you write better sections at the end. So it's kind of native AI functionality with the large language models that you can just subscribe to and buy. Um, so we are doing the hard part, which is capture. And we're also training it to think like top business developers to win more. We are at its core creating a living strategy engine. We're reducing the time to develop a win strategy by 75%. We are doubling your win probability, and we're lowering your bid and proposal cost by 50%. So more on this later. I'll show you guys. If you guys would like to reach out and talk to me about this, happy to field that call and understand what you guys are struggling with and how we can help you. All right, so let's go over the AI basics and prompting. There's a lot of, so one of the things I saw, I think a few weeks ago is, I think Gartner went out, Gartner or Gallup, one of them, might have been Gallup. Gallup went out and interviewed 1,000 or so people in various large businesses about the use of AI. And what they found is that the usage of AI is around 25 to 35%, even amongst large businesses who have spent bajillions of dollars integrating their own or building their own tool and so on and so forth. The adoption rates are really low. So they asked people why. The top response, the top two responses, I don't remember which one in order, is people felt like it was cheating, number one. And number two, they thought AI would replace their job. So it was something around 50% and 45%. I don't remember which is which, but that was a lot of the hesitation of using it. So if you are owning a business and you're seeing low adoption rates with AI, it might be something similar. I'd recommend asking people and finding out why they feel that way. And then we can start working on how to make it better. So with that, kind of knowledge and some of my own anecdotal experience working with people in the industry, I wanted to go over how to use AI first and kind of what the basics are to kind of demystify some of it. And then the second half of the class, we can go over some use cases in BD and capture to generate good proposal content. The old wisdom of garbage in, garbage out is still true today. If you give AI crap, it's going to give you crap back. So we still need to give our expertise and give our evaluations of the content that gets produced. But we have to do the thinking. The humans do. You guys do, the users. We still have to know what great looks like, and we still have to work with the tool and with our human colleagues to come up with compelling customer messages, win strategies, win themes, excellent proposal inputs, and really figuring out what our customers want. AI can help us with that on some of the more difficult tasks and some of the large document analysis and some of the writing, but we still have to be the core. We still have to be the pilots. We still have to be the basis of information, and we still have to use our creativity to drive that output. So I'm going to go over what AI can do and talk about some things it's good at, some things it's not good at. As you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat here, and we'll get to them at the end. So I think we should be able to get through everything in time. I put together a lot of slides, so I'm hoping that we can. But certainly as you have questions, type them in the chat so we can see. And yeah. All right, so let's get into it. Trying to get my screen out of the way. Okay, so understanding AI in the context of government BD. So one of the things we need to look at is that this is a new revolution. The Industrial Revolution was about a 35% productivity gain. This AI revolution is somewhere in the 50% range, depending on how good you are and your level of expertise. But it is not cheating. it is still a tool. It is still information. It's still something that we can use. And one of the things I'd like you guys to think about is thinking about using AI as a collaborative partner because it has all of the world's publicly available data ingested into it. So regardless of which AI you use, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, there's a lot of them now. Grok, uh, there's a lot of AIs that are out there. Whichever one you use, I learn about new ones every day. Uh, they have been trained on very large amounts of data. So the people who are winning more have in having I'm not going to say better time, but a relatively easier time in these, in the post Doge era and in the midst of the government shutdown and all of the contract cancellations. Things are getting way more competitive. Everybody's fighting for the same dollars now, and there's a couple agencies that are doing well, like DoD and DHS, and there's a lot of agencies who have had significant budget cuts. We are heading towards another budget showdown, I think, in February. So, I've never seen so much disruption so quickly in the industry. And, I was here during sequestration. Even during COVID, it wasn't like this. So, people who are using AI and experimenting with it and building those tools are the ones who are leading the wins. And if you guys have not yet, I recommend you reach out to me to talk about how you can do that or experiment with your own implementation. So I'll go through kind of the AI adoption process later on to hopefully give you guys a framework on how to do that. Also, government source selection is using AI now. I saw the first debrief at a GSA that was generated from their AI that they made, and man, it was bad. And regardless of the quality of the debrief, that is the future. So I've heard a lot of people saying, well, it's going to be proposals written by AI that are evaluated by AI and on and on and on. And it's like, well, maybe. I know for a lot of large bids, it's still humans. There's a lot of movement towards orals. There's going to be a big shift in the federal acquisition regulations with the focus on past performance and CPARs and the FAR 2.0 rewrite. So there's a lot of changes coming, and what I know for certainty is that the companies who get AI right will be better than and succeed more than the companies who don't. So that's where we are. What it means for you is to future-proof your career, to ensure that you remain valuable as the field evolves. What I'm seeing is that the people who are suffering the most are the junior workforce in AI adoption and kind of this revolution. The people who get the most out of AI are the experts. The people who know what good looks like, who know what the next step of the process is, who know how to write good prompts and how to combine the realm of the possible with, hey, I just have this question and I'm curious about, and I found this angle, and AI helped me put it all together in a way that was much faster than I was able to before. So those kinds of people are getting the most out of AI, but it is still a partnership with humans and machines. So let's talk about the advantages. So AI can provide strategic advantages in analyzing very large amounts of opportunity, pursuit, proposal, past performance, resume, and financial data. It is very good at sorting through large amounts of unstructured data and connecting the dots and finding kind of the threads. This is kind of what we've been building our system on, is being able to ingest these large amounts of data and help you find what is actually useful and what's not. And then it helps you providing insights into patterns and trends and offers predictive analysis results that may escape the human eye. I think the current productivity increase is at least 30%. It might even be higher. And for me, it's been at least 50% with the analysis that I have to do and a lot of the reading and summarization and what's important and what's not important. It saves me a tremendous amount of time. I think it also will add 20% higher win rate to your bids if you use it correctly. And this is not just going to ChatGPT or Claude and saying, "Hey, write my proposal section for me." It's not about that. We'll talk about how to make it better later on, but um, we still need to provide the inputs. I think it can generate a lot of labor cost savings with the proposal team, at least in the first drafting. The companies who more with AI are actually using AI to have longer with their drafts. So what I mean by that is they get more cycles and they get more iterations. For some of the less mature proposal teams that have I don't know, less strict management or less mature proposal management practices, I think what AI has been doing for them is it's allowing them to procrastinate longer, and therefore they're not getting the benefit of being able to generate drafts quickly. So if you are if you're a business owner, proposal professional, think about where you are on that spectrum. Do you find that people are waiting longer to give you the stuff? Maybe you shorten your in-process reviews, or do you think people are hitting the schedules very quickly? Right. So that's something we need to look at as leaders and as managers and as potentially proposal writers or coordinators. I'm sure there's a lot of people on this call that are from a wide range of backgrounds. It also helps identify risks and devise proactive mitigation strategies to save time and resources. So AI is not going to take your job if you use it correctly and if you incorporate it into everything you do, because you will be more effective, more productive, and you will win more, which is the ultimate goal on anybody who's in business development. It is, what's the scoreboard? How much have you won for the company? The people who are using AI the best are the ones who are getting the best results and who are getting promoted, and they are providing the most value for their companies. And I use AI in my entire life. It's not just business. I've incorporated it across my health, my workout routines, my diets, my medical stuff, like any my leisure. Hey, where should I go? So it's we're talking about this in a business context, but I've been using AI for the past 3 years and integrated into a lot of my decision making. So for me, it's very comfortable. For you though, particularly in a business standpoint, it is what happens to my data, right? Where does it go? So when this material was made, there wasn't a lot of security around AI a couple years ago. The large LLMs have been implementing those security features and promising to you that they are not going to use your data as training data. However, you have to set the permissions correctly. Okay, so if you don't, when you enter data into a chatbot, that data could be stored by the LLM for training purposes, which means you don't know where it goes, and potentially other people could access it later. Data entered into the proposal software could also be used for the LLM training purposes as well, because the software relies on major LLMs. Okay, so software companies could also use your data to improve their platforms. That's fairly common with de-identification and decoupling of data, but it is also an issue. And bad actors could potentially use the LLMs to get sensitive information. So how can we protect ourselves? Because there are solutions available and they're fairly commonplace now. So we want to, first and foremost, if we're worried about sensitive data being used in ways that we don't want it to be, then don't put it into the LLM. That's the easiest one, is just not to do it. So you can anonymize the documents used for the prompts. So you can go and translate the sensitive information into not sensitive information or generic questions that can give you the data you need to make the decisions you need to make. Or you can use a service option that doesn't retain your data. There's plenty of that now. So with ChatGPT, you can actually turn it off. So if you subscribe, you have to pay for it. Like if you have a free account, they are 100% using your data for training data. When you pay for a business account or an enterprise account like we have, you can turn that off. So all of the LLMs allow you to do that. I think for Claude, you actually have to turn it off when you create your profile, and if you don't, you can't turn it off later. So I think that's how it works. I'm not 100% sure, but we need to know that. And generally, what I've seen is you do have to pay for the pro versions or the premium versions of the LLMs in order to protect your data. So we've been using business accounts for a while as soon as they rolled out that security feature and haven't had a problem. So for whatever AI software you use, make sure that you get encryption, multi-layer security protocols, that they are FedRAMP and NIST 800-171 frameworks to ensure data security. We're building our platform in GovCloud, AWS GovCloud, and we're heading towards FedRAMP equivalency to be able to handle CUI data. All of these AI tools that are out there, the third-party software should have some kind of security provisions. You need to know what those are, and you need to ask them. So also, we want to make sure that there's integrity and ethics and business practices with the appropriate legal agreements. So where's your data going? How are you protected from it going outside of your enclave? These are all things that these companies have an answer for. I have an answer for it. We designed ours to be secure from the beginning. So if you are evaluating a new model, make sure you go through the proper security review so that you can protect your sensitive information and intellectual property. Okay. So let's talk about prompting. Your prompting is going to make all the difference. So what do you ask? How do you use the tool? All LLMs and all AI software need to have some level of guidance from the users. We're building a lot of prompting into our workflows behind the scenes, but the users will still need to be able to prompt. I mean, so let's talk about that a little bit. So this is from Midjourney. This is an old capability that ChatGPT had. All of these graphics so far, by the way, have been generated by AI. Midjourney is now just included in ChatGPT 5.1, so you can just use it now. So imagine a photo of a capture manager brainstorming in front of a proposal wall. Here we go. This is what we got. Okay, so it's not bad, right? This is something that we could use, but one of the things that we need to work on, and one of the things we always need to be aware of with AI, is that it has inherent biases built into the model. So as you can see, the bias here is that it's a white male as a capture manager. So, and looking at the proposal wall and office environment is kind of bland, right? So AI went, ChatGPT or Midjourney in this case, went out and said, okay, well, who are capture managers and where do they brainstorm? And here you go. But maybe we want something better. Maybe we want something different, right? This photo is kind of ho-hum, right? So now let's improve the prompt if we have things that we need to work on, right? So now imagine a photo of a red-headed female capture manager brainstorming in front of a proposal wall with post-its with a wide-angle camera and cinematic lighting. Use this reference. And we gave it a file of a picture that we liked as inspiration. And here you go. This is a lot more interesting and engaging and a lot more dynamic, right? But we had to tell it to do that, right? It's less gender bias, becomes more artistic, impactful, showing deep thought. To me, I look at her and she's working harder than and it's kind of just a more interesting picture than the one prior. But we can go further. So we're modifying our prompt to get a better output. And then maybe we were going to want to get to what we really want to convey, right? So now, again, the third prompt is a photo of a red-headed female capture manager brainstorming in front of a proposal wall with post-its and a wide-angle camera with cinematic lighting, window in the back with, oh man, I can't say that word, crepuscular ray. Her face is in focus with deep thought. Use this reference. We gave a new picture, right? And now we got a new and interesting photo. So what is it that we're trying to get to? We need to picture those things in our mind and then tell the LLM what we want. At least not for now. Um, AI cannot read your brain. Maybe that will change in the future. But just like people, we have to tell them what we want. We can't just assume they're going to know. So the more specific and the more detailed we can get, the better. And in this case, when we were making this, we actually did a lot of research on photography and art so that we could use the specific terms. When we use the specific terms, Mid-Journey, when we made these slides a couple years ago, uh, went out and researched them. What do those terms mean? How can I incorporate them in pictures? So in this scenario, a creative professional with knowledge of photography and art would have a clear edge over the untrained eye without, just, hey, make a picture of a capture manager brainstorming in front of a wall. A lot of prompts are sold and traded now. There's a huge marketplace for that. But it's not about the initial product, but using your professional knowledge to give the feedback and finesse the outcome to get whatever adjustments you want. So, and that's something I talked about earlier, is that your professional training and experience as a business development professional is what matters in the quality of the results, even with AI. Okay. And we're going to go over prompting now here in a minute, but everything that you've learned and everything that you've wished you've been able to do as a business developer, capture manager, proposal professional, coordinator, writer, graphic artist is now possible because we can get these first drafts and we can get this brainstorming and we can get this ideation done a lot faster, right? So we need to rely on all of our professional experience and also our imagination of what it is we want to do. Is there a way to connect the dots now that we're not limited with having to do a week's worth of research to come up with whether it's true or not? That was one of the things that stopped me from doing a lot of the things I wanted to do was, well, in order to find the answer to that, I'd be reading hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of stuff. And maybe it was in there and maybe it's not. Well, AI's got all the PhDs possible in the world and a subject matter expert in just about everything. So now it is, hey, I don't know what I don't know. Here's what I'm thinking of. Here's my instinct. What do you think? And I get answers and it helps me refine some of my ideas. So basics of prompt engineering, right? The success of our prompts and the success of our use of AI is going to be dependent upon our ability to guide the AI to achieve specific outputs. So we have systematic design, refinement and optimization of prompts using prompt engineering techniques and applying your professional understanding and discernment. So prompting is a lot more informal now than it used to be when some of the earlier models were out. It's much more intuitive now than it used to be and a lot easier to use. However, the prompting process I'm going to walk you guys through is kind of the thought process of how to communicate what you really want and what the outcome you want really is. And then you can go through this feedback loop of, well, I like this, I didn't like this. This is a little too fluffy. This needs to be more specific. Can you focus more on this thing over here, right? So as I walk you through that, just keep in mind that it's not like a formal step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's a thought process and kind of a communication process. So we want to evaluate and categorize the prompts for continued relevance and effectiveness. One of the things that we've been using at OST and now at Win More BD is creating a prompt library. So when you have a prompt that you think works, OpenAI will allow you to share it with other people on your team so they can use it too. That's pretty nice. And you can also maintain an up-to-date prompt library to foster knowledge sharing. So we used to do this manually with like Word documents on SharePoint. And it was organized by like a table of contents that you could click through in a Word document. Now it's just on our team project in OpenAI. So there's a lot of those versions out there that are available to you, and it can help you out a lot. All right. I can already see on my next slide I missed an animation here. So that happens. All right, so how do we get the best results from the AI through prompt engineering? Well, we need to write clear instructions. AI can't read your brain. People can't read your brain either. So the better you are at delegating, the better you are at explaining what you want, the better results you're going to get. So garbage in, garbage out. Remember, that's the phrase of the day. All right, so let's go through this, right? So just like you are, with your coworkers, AIs aren't mind readers. We have to delegate properly to just like it was a collaborative partner. And the quality and precision of your questions are going to greatly influence the quality of the response. Okay, so here's example number one. Conversational prompting is the simplest form, but requires detailed instructions and reference materials. So if I went into pick an LLM, whatever you want, even Copilot, right? And Copilot is kind of a laughing stock. It's not very good. But we just did a persuasive writing training for a large government contractor, and they only had Copilot because the lawyers and the corporate policies or whatever were preventing them from using anything. Whoa, whoa. Sorry about that. They were preventing the team from using anything better than Copilot. So they got Copilot for everybody. Everybody hated it. And we're like, well, let's use it. Let's see how it goes. And as we went through, we started with this prompt. Hey, please write an executive summary for the attached RFP using the capture plan. See what it gives you. All right? So we did. It wasn't very good. It was very bland, and it just didn't produce anything that was really usable. Yeah, there were words on the page, but you might as well start from scratch, right? Versus, please write an introduction for the executive summary, focusing on the main customer pain points listed on slide 12 in the form of a burning question with the corresponding value proposition on slide 12 as a solution to their main problem. Follow that with Team X's, the name of the company, win themes, and introduction of relevant capabilities listed in the presentation. That was a fantastic first draft. But, and you may see where I'm going with this, we already had all the information defined. We had the hot buttons, main customer pain points. We had win themes. We had capabilities already documented. So then it was pointing the LLM to where the good information was and what to pull from. So just like I was going to give instructions to a human or a writer, if I were going to give a proposal writer these instructions, which one would produce better? Like which prompt here, which level of instructions? If I just said, hey, here's our capture plan, go write the executive summary. Maybe they do a good job. Maybe they don't. If I say the second one, focus on the pain points, start with the customer, then list the value propositions, list the win themes, introduce our team, introduce the relevant capabilities, I'm going to get a lot more of what I want. It's probably not going to be perfect, that's fine, but it's a lot closer to what I was envisioning. So just like you delegate to people, we need to delegate to the AI. And this is what I'm talking about, is that AI can help you come up with some of these things individually. Right? So if we were going to go through an exercise of defining customer pain points and hot buttons, we could do that, but we would need to work on that, the AI and myself together, same with you guys. So you'd want to break this up into smaller chunks to develop the inputs to a great proposal. Okay, does that make sense? The next thing we want to do is we want to indicate we want to use delimiters to indicate distinct parts of the inputs. I like to use quotes. You guys can use whatever you want, but you need to tell the AI, like grammar matters to some degree, but you need to, tell the AI what's your instructions versus what's the reference material. And I do that either through files or through delimiters. Words are hard today. I like to use quotes when I say reference this content, quote, content paste, end quote. This is what I'm looking for. And then I go through that, right? So the other thing you need to do is you always need to provide the context and help AI understand why behind the prompt. Why is it we need to write a great executive summary? Why is it, and this is a question to you guys, why is it that we should start our executive summary with pain points and hot buttons? The answer to that is because proposals are sales documents and they should be about the customer, not about us, the bidders. I cringe every time I open a proposal and the first line of the executive summary is, "We are pleased to submit blah, 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 blah." Oh, it's garbage. Oh, it's so bad. That is valuable real estate to talk about your customers. What are their major pain points? What are their major strategic issues? What are their hopes, fears, and biases? What's going on in their world? Why is this contract important? When you start your executive summary with the customer, it shifts the focus from you, the dearest, right, to the customers who actually matter. So when I prompt AI, I give it that context. Hey, we need to start with the customer pain points. Let's work on the hook. Let's work on the introduction to the executive summary. Like, how can I bring the readers in? Here's what I think the major strategic hot buttons are for this program. And let's talk about that. And then let's work on that. That why helps give the AI context and focus on the things that matter so that you guys get the best output in something that's actually usable. We also should experiment with different phrasing. You can add or correct output based on additional input. So I forget to add things all the time if I have like a really large, complicated prompt. I'm like, oh, I forgot this key data point. Can you work it in? You know, here it is. And then it will add it in. Okay. All right, so generally, and again, things don't have to be this specific, right? But it's a thought process. So if I were to modify this first one to give it a role, you could say, hey, AI, act as a proposal manager, as a proposal writer, act as a capture manager, whatever, right? Conversely, you can also give it what it is we're trying to do, right? So what's the so what? Hey, we are writing an executive summary, and the first part of the executive summary is the hook. I need to start with the customer pain points, what the major ones are. I think these are the top 3 customer pain points, and let's start with that, right? So it's a role, it's kind of context. It's a good way to look at this one, right? Then you need to give it a task to do. Write an executive summary, or write the hook to an executive summary, or generate a risk table, whatever. And then the steps to complete the tasks or task, starting with the action verb. Pull in the major programmatic risks on slide 15, whatever, right? Or use the risk mitigation strategies listed in this document, whatever, right? What are the tasks? Where should you go to look at it? Just like you were going to tell a human. And then what's the desired format? Should it give you a list? Should it give you a table? Should it give you a paragraph? How long should the paragraph be? Do we need to write a 1-page document? What's the format? Do we need to generate a graphic? Obviously we need to tell it to generate a graphic. So how do we want the output? Context and specific details of the data, including attachments. One of the things I really like about ChatGPT and OpenAI is their projects. You can upload a lot of data and a lot of documents into a specific project. So if I'm going to work on an analysis about countering weapons of mass destruction, right? That's a big field. I may have a lot of policy documents, a lot of strategy documents as reference. I would upload those into the project for reference as I'm doing individual tasks, right? So I use the pro version, like we pay a lot for it. So, I have that capability. If you guys don't, I'd recommend looking into upgrading or looking at one of the AI tools. What are the limitations or constraints if needed, right? So what can we do? What can't we do? But this is generally your kind of 6 areas of a prompt. Very similar to how you would delegate to a human, right? and then any examples you have for reference. So don't if you don't have those examples, I'll ask, like there's excellent research capability. I'll ask it to go out on the internet and search. So for example, when I'm doing research on a specific opportunity, I will AI will just grab a lot of times the top like search engine optimized pages as it's related to whatever opportunity we're talking about. I look for the references and I actually go through the references, right? And one of the things I found is that it was referencing a lot of business development blogs like mine. uh, so, like when I was doing a webinar for, oh, what was the last one I did for an opportunity? Let's just say Oasis Plus. I didn't, Bill did that, not me, but when I was doing opportunity research, I was seeing the background and the sources come back from OST, from a bunch of other like BD blogs. And I was like, oh, we're kind of drinking our own bathwater here. So if that's what you are referencing, that's not an authoritative source. So like when we go out, when our marketing people go out and do research and our analysts go out and do research for our newsletters, we're reading news articles, we're quoting journalists, we're going to Federal News Network or Bloomberg, or we're going to the government to find the actual information that we need, right? And then we write it and then we push it out. So we're putting our own conclusions on that analysis. And sometimes I don't want AI to go through in legal blogs and business development blogs and all of these professional services blogs because they kind of have a bias already built into those blogs. Right, so I will tell the AI exclude business development, legal blogs, professional services blogs, and look for authoritative sources. So, journalists at reputable media companies, government officials, press releases from the government, et cetera, et cetera. Right, so I'll actually exclude a good amount of content, or I'll even give it the website I want it to go to. So if GSA is a good example. They have a huge website that's kind of difficult to navigate to. It's all there somewhere, but I'll say, hey, go into GSA or go into, what else? Go into FPDS, so on and so forth, right? And then if I have any examples of documents that I've already found, I'll give it that too. So when I was, for example, implementing my HubSpot that I just bought for Win More BD, I had collected a lot of good sales training documents over the last several years that people had sent to me and that, presentations I had attended. And and like best practices that people put out on the internet. And I kind of kept the ones that I wanted. And when it was time to integrate or build the sales phase in HubSpot, I'm like, hey, AI, I don't know anything about HubSpot. I'm brand new to it. But here's what I want my sales process to look like. Here's all the documents that I've collected over the last couple of years. And then I was getting excellent stuff and excellent advice about the metrics I wanted to collect and the timing and the phases of the sales process. And then I was able to go and reference HubSpot implementation material. And I got really good stuff that I was able to give to my developers. And they got a lot further along. I could have never done that without AI. So building building what you want and being specific and working with AI is actually going to allow you to do things that you couldn't do before. Peculiarities of the AI chatbot or the software chat interactions. There are some weird ones, right? So one of the things to keep in mind is that AIs maintain context of the conversation within a session. They recall earlier parts of the dialogue to maintain coherence. This has gotten a lot better over the past year. But the ability to remember prior text and conversation is limited to the session's context window. So it doesn't necessarily tell you what the context window is, but there is one. AI can refer back to the earlier parts of the conversation, but it's limited to the size of the context window, which has a fixed number of tokens it can consider at one time. Okay, so what you guys have probably been seeing if you've been using AI over these past couple years is it started taking a lot longer to answer questions. And I think a lot of that is this issue with tokens, right? The issue of available processing power, because AI is based on physical limitations of the size of the data centers and the number of GPUs and cooling capability that it has in the data center. So that's why NVIDIA became the world's most valuable company, why all of these companies are racing to build larger and larger data centers, but we still have physical hardware limitations to what we're able to do. And it's related to this tokens, which you can think of as like a currency to process information. So whether you cut and paste information into the conversation window or attach files, AI to read affects how the AI will process that information. When files attach, AI might not read the entire document, but perform semantic searches to find relevant information based on the query. This is called semantic relationships. And it refers to AI's understanding of the context and the meaning behind the words, not just keyword matching. Cut and paste text allows the AI to process information immediately and holistically, provided it fits within the context window. Capability is improving all the time. Generally, what I've seen though is you can upload large documents. However, and this is particularly true with RFPs, you need to tell it where to go. Otherwise, it's going to pull in, like if you said, hey, analyze this RFP, it's going to give you a lot of crap because it doesn't know what you want. So it'll say, well, the government really cares about compliance. And, you really need to be on time for this because your proposal won't get accepted. Right? Very general things. Even now with the advancements in some of the latest AI models, you just say, analyze this RFP. Well, analyze what about it? Hey, tell me what the proposal instructions are. How many volumes? How many pages? What's the format criteria? What is the structure of my technical volume? Blah, blah, blah. Those are specific questions it can go in and find. And this is actually something that we've been working on is being able to help AI understand the relationships between the proposal instructions, the evaluation criteria, the statement of work, the Section J attachments, potentially the special contract clauses. We've had to build that understanding so that our AI goes through the workflow and actually looks at the relationships between the requirements to help better understand and analyze what the subjective compliance is, right? Because you have things that are like yes, no. Like, did you submit your SF-33? Was it signed? That's a yes, no. That's administrative compliance. When you start getting into compliance of the quality and the degree to which you address the requirements, that is highly subjective. And that's what we've been working on, or that's what we worked on a couple sprints ago, was understanding that subjective compliance, that opinion-related compliance, and that really comes from an understanding of how all of the requirements interact in the proposal. So the other thing that may irritate you is that AI is forgetful and is sometimes wrong. So this is part of the reason why experts get the most out of AI. And you guys have all probably read the news articles about lawyers getting debarred because they were using AI to write their briefs, their legal briefs, and they were citing cases that didn't exist. AI does hallucinate. It does make things up. We have to check all of it. So I go through, I check references, I click in the links of where they pulled things. Was the analysis correct? Did it find something that was useful, or is it not? Right? And then I'll disregard that or challenge it to prove it. And sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I got that wrong. So some things to keep in mind is as you are progressing, sometimes earlier information is forgotten, as the new inputs will push the old information out of the context window, and this can impact the AI's ability to reference past information. This is something that's been improving and it's a lot larger now, but it still can happen. So you must periodically refresh the AI's memory with important details that remain relevant to the ongoing conversation, such as the RFP requirements. If it starts forgetting the compliance stuff, we need to remind it. Also, flooding AI with too much information at once can be counterproductive, so we need to offer information and instructions in manageable chunks and guide the AI through the tasks step by step. If the AI misinterprets information or context of the conversation, it's important to correct it. So don't let it keep building on the errors. So when you get the first draft, go through, look at the links, critically evaluate what it was written, give feedback. And then you can challenge it and offer it clarifications if there was a misunderstanding or you didn't say things correctly to get your AI back on track. Also, when challenged, the AI tends to perform better, just like a human achiever. So sometimes I'll ask it to do something and it's just not very good. And I'm like, hey, it kind of looks like you phoned that one in. Like I'll tell it that, like I'll type that in. That's definitely not your best work. Here's why. And I'll go and explain why that's not correct. You know, I was doing this when I was mapping out all of the FAR clauses for in the various acquisition requirements of all of the different kinds of solicitations. I got some stuff that just wasn't right. And I went in and I into the FAR clauses and the definitions and the structures of the contract, and I said, hey, this just isn't right. Like, here's why. And it went and fixed it. So we have to read all of this stuff, just like if you were to get something from a person, you have to do the quality review. So the thinking of the inputs, the thinking of the delegation of the tasks, the thinking of the context, the thinking of the outputs, and the thinking in the quality review are all things that you as humans and operators of AI need to focus on. All right, so maybe you don't know where to start, right? Or maybe you're just not getting what you want. Have a conversation with AI. Talk about what you're going through, talk about what you're experiencing, talk about your feelings. I know that's tough, but talk about your feelings. Hey, I don't feel like this is right. I don't know why, but here's what is kind of bothering me about what you just said. You can actually you can ask AI to help you prompt itself. It's crazy, but it's something that you can do. Or prompt another model. Like if there's another model like Perplexity, for example, that does excellent research, I can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, can you write a prompt for Perplexity to do XYZ? And it will. And I'll go copy and paste it, put it in, and bam, there we go. So you can ask the AI to add clarity, resolve ambiguous terms, phrases that can lead to multiple interpretations, recommend additional context, or enhance specificity to achieve better outcomes. So you can also ask AI to condense a wordy prompt without losing essential messages, or details to ask AI to split it into multiple prompts. So as we start, and I'm going to go over this here in a bit, but as we start breaking down complex instructions into simple instructions or more manageable instructions, sometimes it's hard to do and we don't know where the cutoff points is. Ask AI to do it. Very good at it. And then we can also integrate the best practices for prompt design that we just went over. The 6 or 7 steps there, I think 7 steps. And then structure to fit a particular format, such as a question or answer for orals prep or specific proposal section structure per the requirements. Okay. So we are having a lot of questions, which is good, and a lot of comments there. So for creative tasks, suggest ways to inspire more diverse innovations outputs through prompt design. One of my favorite quote of all time is from Pablo Picasso. It says, good artists borrow, great artists steal. If you have things you like you have inspiration that you have, use that. Hey, this is the inspiration of this graphic that I'd like to do, or this layout for my One-page capability statement. I like this layout a lot. Here's some examples of ones that I think look really good. Can you use these to build mine with my color palette, my logo, and tell me what the outline should be so we can work on the text? And it will. That's great. So, or, hey, this is a task that I need to do. This is a report I need to get done. I need to make these graphics. This is a proposal section I need to work on. I don't know how to start. Can we brainstorm on how to get started? AI is great at that. Okay, so this is the basics of AI prompting, and we're about, I think, 55% of the way through the course or through the class here. So I'm hoping that we can get about 20 minutes or so at the end for questions, and I can answer all of the chat that's coming in. So let's talk about how to integrate AI for your BD process. So these are ideas. Everybody is different. Everybody has different processes. They have different gate reviews. They have different capture processes. They have different proposal processes. It's fine. What I'm trying to do is help you guys understand where you can best use AI and large language models of what they're good at, right? So let's talk about this a little bit. So this is the business development lifecycle that we define at OST. And then we're going to go over case studies or uses for each step. So step one is something you do on a regular basis. You build capacity by investing in new capabilities. As you grow, you can bring on new BD people, new proposal people. Maybe you need to get new certifications, or you need to get a clearance, or whatever. Right? There's lots of things that can prevent you from bidding and investing in those new capabilities so that you can go after those opportunities is what this step is about. Then generally you need to have some sort of strategic business development planning document that says these are our agencies that we want to go to. These are our primary vehicles. This is our ideal opportunity profile. It could be size, geographic region, office within an agency. Could be socioeconomic set aside. It could be the core capabilities that you want to focus on and get qualifications for, whatever. That's what are the targets that we want to go after and what are the things we want to win moving forward. Then we needed to do market research. Does this agency buy what we sell? How do they buy what we sell? How much do they buy what we sell? Who are the top players in that agency? Who are going to be our biggest competitors? Who might be our biggest teammates and partners? So on and so forth. So the steps 2 and 3 happen together. And then you want to, once you have enough information to make decisions, we need to market to target agencies and partners. So build those relationships, tell people what we're trying to do, what our goals are. And then we need to build the opportunities profile, pipeline. The pipeline needs to be checked for strategic fit. So every opportunity that goes into the pipeline needs to be graded against the ideal opportunity profile. Then we need to qualify each opportunity, which is essentially 3 things. There's a lot more to qualifications, but generally you need to know who the buyer is. You need to confirm with them that they have a requirement that you can win as either a prime or a sub. And they need to have money. Those are generally the 3 things you need. So even with all of the firings and the reductions in force, there are still government people working. We just talked to a contracting officer yesterday about a newsletter we sent out. And yeah, she was nice, right? About what you would think a contracting officer would be. Why are you calling me? We haven't pushed anything out yet, but she did give us a lot of good information, which I thought was good. So she's under a lot of pressure, right? It's a tough environment to be a govy. So we need to understand what our customers are going through and recognize that they went a couple months without getting paid, and many of them still showed up and did an admirable job. However, that outreach to the government still can happen and still needs to happen. And that needs to be worked into the process. Then you need to conduct capture, and then you need to write the proposal, And then you need to do business development during project execution. You need to get your project personnel plugged into your pipeline. So do your project managers, your project personnel know how to recognize opportunities? Do they know how to bring those opportunities back to your BD people? Are they defending their scope, or are they allowing too much scope creep in? Are they selling out their contracts? Are they getting those upsells? Some large companies have mandatory 10% contract growth for every contract that they win. So this is something that's a priority or it's not. The best government contractors work very hard to grow the scope of their current contracts and to defend their incumbency, in addition to bringing in new work. Okay, so how can AI help you? Well, it can help analyze good opportunities for your bid, good opportunities you no bid or lost for requirements you could not fulfill. So were there yes, no things that kept you from bidding or kept you from winning? And then potentially it could help recommend strategies to obtain those missing credentials. During the strategic business development session, it can help you develop your strategy overall, your plan. Metrics development and analysis, like how are you going to measure success? Your portfolio analysis, what's your must-win opportunity identification? I didn't go over this, but as you build your pipeline, you need to rank your opportunities, right? So a lot of companies are in a reactive mode. They are bidding bluebirds too much. And because too much of their focus is spent on bluebirds, they are not spending time on the strategic bids that they have to win. So when you talk about your must-win criteria, what would you say if this opportunity came out, we would do everything we could to win it. We would do nothing else, right? These are the must wins. So as you are inserting opportunities into your pipeline, as you're doing your weekly or bi-weekly pipeline meetings, as you're qualifying your opportunities, you need to rank them in priority. Number ones are must wins. You need to know what your must wins are going to be. For a lot of people with Oasis Plus is a must win. Like Oasis Plus, since the Trump administration has come in, has been the largest winner in terms of new scope that it's going to get. Earlier this year, it got 2 large contracts from DHS that were canceled. First Source 3 and what was the other one? Oh, I can't remember. It was about $18 billion worth of work that was moved or is being in the process of being moved to Oasis Plus. I've heard Seaport is going to go to Alliant and Oasis Plus. We'll see. There are rumors about Army ITES being moved to different vehicles as well. But what are those must-win opportunities, guys? What are those things that we absolutely have to win in order to get to our next level? So we need to make those criteria. AI can help you with that. And then we need to prioritize them based on B&P budget allocations. So we got to budget things as well. In the market research, it can help you do the agency deep dives, the market landscape trends, research and analysis, help you do competitive analysis and other market research tasks associated with data analysis. Okay. It can also help you develop your account plan and the multitude of uses for marketing, white paper copy development, case study development, web pages, press releases, cap statement tailoring, etc. I've been using AI for Win More BD since we started the company. And I don't need a large marketing team because I know what our customers want. So when you are building the opportunities pipeline, it can help you analyze the expiring and new opportunity announcements. It can help you do the opportunity fit for your interest, no interest decisions based on your ideal opportunity profile that you developed in step 2. And it can help you analyze the budgets and appropriated funds. So all of those OMB 300s, all of those congressional budget documents, we can feed that into AI and have it look through it. You don't need to know all of that stuff. You don't need to know the treasury account symbols and the unique government identifiers and where the buckets of money go. You just need to know where your program is and find the right agency and say, hey, what kind of funding do you think is available for this opportunity? You can also, AI can help you with the top-down capture research, granular analysis against search criteria and deal breakers, old draft and retained RFX analysis, related RFX, so solicitation analysis. This is where we're getting into what our tool is going to do right now, and is going to be released in December. So in a couple weeks, we're really excited about that. And then during capture, uh, do your customer hot button analysis. So a hot button is a hope, fear, or bias. It's a research, data analysis, win theme, strategy development, competitive analysis, teaming analysis, solution development. These are the phases of capture. AI can help you with that. Prepare the proposal can help you do the solicitation analysis, the schedule, proposal plan development, compliance matrix and outline, brainstorming, drafting, writing, and editing, past performance resumes, graphics conceptualization, and reviews. So there's a lot of ways that AI can plug into the various stages of capture and proposals and BD. All right, and then for your BD during project execution, map out and manage stakeholder engagement, compile and analyze performance data from current objectives to use as part of the evidence of past performance in future bids, and C, capture and proposal task list. So as you were thinking about how to integrate AI into your company, this is the maturity levels, a way we can kind of think about. So as you start measuring things, you start caring about those things, and then they can get better over time, but you have to measure them first. So we can invest in data quality, because for AI to be effective, your data must be clean, accurate, organized in a library that integrates with AI. So as we're building out our customer onboarding process, this is something that you have to do. We need to go through your proposal library. What is good? What are we going to exclude? We need to put the opportunity data together with the final proposals, with the debrief if there was one, uh, and then we can start looking at for the one contracts. What is your deliverables database? Like, can we go through your monthly status reports? A lot of times those MSRs are the things that are excellent clues of hero stories and potential solutions that you've offered to solve complex challenges, depending on how detailed they are. I mean, these are things that can really help you get the institutional knowledge out of the heads of your program and project people into your business development process, right? But all of this stuff needs to be organized correctly, because AI does not do very good with data lakes. So just large chunks of data and large unorganized documents and just things in a database. You have to be able to show it where to go. And then we need to train each employees at each level to ensure that they understand AI's roles in the business development process and are comfortable with the tools they're expected to use. So we need to measure adoption and how people are using it. And then view AI integration as an iterative process. So we'll talk about the different capabilities levels. The processor should evolve along with the usage. So for a long time before I started Winmore VD, we were meeting on a weekly basis at OST to talk about how we were all using AI, the different prompts that we came up with. When it was brand new, we were on Teams all the time saying, oh, hey, I just put this prompt in. Look at this awesome stuff it gave me. And we were just sharing how we were using it. So it was a very deliberative process that we used to get better and to find out what was good and what wasn't good. So somewhere along here, you're ad hoc, unorganized, automatically at this maturity level. Maybe you're interested in AI. I would assume that everybody is here is at least ad hoc, since you all are here at a webinar talking about how to use AI. Reactive, so chaotic and tactical, responding based on immediate and individual performance, experimentation with mainstream AI. Defined, you have a standard business development process in pockets. Without organization-wide process improvements, AI becomes operational. Quantitatively managed, standard BD process is implemented throughout the firm, measuring what matters, AI embedded in strategy. This is something that I've seen a lot of companies struggle with. We were just at a large government contractor doing training yesterday on orals, and they've spent a year building AI, and they are somewhere around 2 to 3. And they've spent a lot of money on it, and they have a whole AI team. And I know another large government contractor spent $3 billion on building their AI. I don't know where they are on this maturity level, but it is a significant process. So we're building it into our workflows so that it's much easier to get to the maturity level 3 and 4. And then optimize. Standard BD processes are improved using data driven by firm, group, and individual goals. AI automation is reached. This is what we are shooting for in our tool. And then as you use it, it's the competitive differentiation drives lifetime client base. AI automation results in maximum volume quality. This is where we're all getting to. So this is something that has to be built over time using the tool or the system. So everybody says, people ask me all the time, it's like, hey, aren't everybody's proposals going to be the same? And I'm like, no, they're not. Not even close. Because, and the story I tell is that I did a win themes process for a company that was for a program that had, I think, 12 or 13 regions, right? And the kind of wrinkle in it is you had to submit a complete bid for each region you wanted to go after. So this company had 3 regions, and so they had to submit 3 proposals. Okay. And we got all 3 proposal teams from each region in the same room in our Rockville office. And we went through a hot buttons brainstorming session. And then we went through the same process of refining those hot buttons into win themes. And the differentiation when they actually got to the proposals of the 3 proposals that this company wrote with the same process, the same win themes process, the same facilitator, and the same proposal outline. They were 3 proposals that read like they were written by 3 completely different companies. So everybody, when we start thinking about like, what if, company A, company B, and company C are using AI to go after the same contract? Okay, well, maybe company A has a really good relationship with the customer, and they get in and they find out all of their hot buttons, right? Company B maybe comes in and they get a consultant that introduces them to some stakeholders, and they have some meetings and they collect some hot buttons too. And then company C is like, all right, well, we just bid on this thing because it came up and we wanted to get our hat in the ring. So they're all using the same AI to go after the same contract. Maybe company C only goes to the industry day, right? The interpretation that I have of customer clues and those hot buttons and what companies actually care about, and my understanding of what's most important, is going to be wildly different than anybody else's. We all have different experiences, different biases, different ways of ingesting information. And because we are each piloting our own AI, we're going to have different assumptions and different inputs into the process. So it's going to diverge wildly. As soon as people start getting involved, and as soon as interpretations start coming into play, and we're like brainstorming and we're talking about different things, it's going to be completely different. So I've heard that a lot from people who haven't really used AI a lot, is that, oh, well, all the proposals are going to sound the same. No, they're not. The companies who are using this correctly, their proposals are much better than companies who are just saying, hey, write my proposal section for me. So just keep that in mind. So this is the maturity level process. This is how we want to think about value stream analysis, right? So a value stream, for those of you who haven't got an MBA or gone to business school, is a series of procedural actions that contribute to the overall goal, such as generating revenue. So we want to take a journey through our business development value chain and look at how each stage of the journey adds value, creating opportunities for efficiency and insight, especially with AI. So how can AI help this part of the process? We need to write it down. So whenever we're doing this stuff, and AI can help you write it down. Whenever we're doing this stuff, I think the number 1 rule in proposals still applies, which is, if I have not seen it, it does not exist. So it's not enough just to sit down and talk about these things. We have to write them down, and we have to start getting input from people, and then we have to start measuring the effectiveness of those processes from our workforce in order to see how well it's going, so that we can make those improvements, right? But we want to map out workflows for each stage. We look at AI AI's role for each stage, develop metrics for each stage to track efficiency gains, baseline each stage, and then im implement and integrate a continuous improvement process. So the traditional wisdom of you measure what you care about holds true. So can we measure it? How do we collect that data? What does it mean when we get it? How do we make improvements? Measure again. So this is kind of a way to think about it. So one of the things that I put together here is how does traditionally opportunities move through your pipeline? And then where can we enhance the pipeline with AI in the role of AI in pipeline development, right? So the AI tools that are out there can help fill your pipeline and advance opportunities through the stage as equally helpful in identification and qualification, right? So when you think about gate zero, we're at that market analysis and account planning, right? So down here in the bottom left. So at some point we have our ideal opportunity profile, right? And that's what this little arrow is. And we need to go and search out on however you find your opportunities for identifying those opportunities. And then we do an interest, no interest review. Like generally the analyst does it. They bring it to the pipeline meeting. The BD team looks at it and says yay or nay. And then we want to qualify opportunities. So when they get, hey, this is good, let's qualify it. Then we got to go into the pursue, don't pursue gate. And people have different numbers for these gates, but I just put them here. You guys can change this and use it how you want. So then the qualification, right? And this is something I've seen a lot of large businesses struggle with. We've done a lot of qualifications for a lot of companies. We find that about half of their stuff isn't real. So half of the things in the pipeline either won't get released on the vehicle they think is being merged with a different contract, going to a different vehicle. Maybe it's over and it's not being released at all. Doesn't have budget, so on and so forth, right? So you need to, if you're leading a BD organization, you need to have your people walk the dog here. Show me your homework. Show me the analysis. How can we win this? Well, one, is it real? What can we win it? How can we win it? And show me your work. Show me your homework. Like, how'd you get to these conclusions? Does the customer know who we are? Do we have past performance? Like, there's quite a lot. Like, what's the competitive landscape? There's quite a lot of analysis that goes into these qualifications because we don't want to waste our time and money and effort on stuff we don't have any business winning at all, right? So the best organizations generally is about a 50% pass rate from gate 1 to gate 2. So of all the opportunities that go into the qualification, about 50% should pass. That's not on my slides here, but that's about right. So the companies that have a greater than 50% win rate year over year, that's the benchmark. And then we're going to go into capture. We're going to do capture phase 1, which is customer engagement, intelligence gathering, win strategy. We need to move the needle. We need to show improvement. And then we'll have some sort of capture review, sometimes called a blue team. You guys may have seen that. A lot of presentations, a lot of meetings, like how have we moved the probability of win needle. Capture gate 2, so this is a proceed, don't proceed. That's why it's called a gate. About 75% of your opportunities that passed gate 2 should pass gate 3. And then capture phase 2 is the competitive analysis, the teaming, the solution development. Now we're getting into a lot more expensive work. We're going to bring in a lot more people. It's going to be a much heavier effort. Generally, the draft RFP will come out during this time. And we're going to do another gate, which is when the final RFP comes out. And that's your bid, no bid. About 90% of your opportunities should pass this gate. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes there's requirements that we see that we didn't influence or we didn't anticipate, and we're kind of caught flat-footed. It happens. So 90% should pass gate 4, and then you work on your proposal, right? So your bid, no bid, when the final RFP comes out, proposal goes around, and generally your gate 5 is at red team or gold team, depends on your process, and this is your ready, not ready to submit. Okay. So are your processes defined? Are they too bureaucratic? Are they hitting the metrics that we want? So the 50% should pass gate 2. Of those 50%, 75% of those should pass gate 3. Of that 75%, 90% should pass gate 4. Let's talk about customer engagement intelligence gathering. So capture is AI heavy with brainstorming, research, and others, all being AI tasks aligning to the six elements of the value in the capture process value chain. So this is capture part one, hot buttons research, customer messaging development, government intelligence gathering, detailed intelligence analysis, and then win strategies, win themes, brainstorming, and development. We're going to go into this in more details. And then capture part two, process steps 4 through 6, are competitor profile workups and analysis, competitive intelligence gathering, updates to win strategy, teaming partner value propositions, and solution brainstorming. Win More BD is focused on capture parts 1 and 2. And then for all of the document assistance, this is something AI can help you with. Our platform is geared to do this, but generating your capture plan, your win themes, white papers, and action items, white papers, point papers, sources sought, requests for information, responses, generation, etc. Right? So a lot of these things that take a lot of time, AI can significantly speed that up. All right, so for our customer engagement, using AI for customer analysis. So AI can go out and search for who potential customers may be. And if it's insufficient, there are the tools that are out there like GovWin and Bloomberg, DASIS, GovTribe, FedMine. There's a bunch of databases. I like to go and find org charts. There's lots of ways to do that, especially with AI helping you with the search. And asking it to crawl through specific government websites, like, going to fda.gov, for example. There's a lot of information that's on the web that's related to that website that is not navigable through the navigation and the sitemap. It is there, and instead of having to learn Boolean search terms, you can just go to one of your AI tools and do that research. Our system will do it for you, but whatever you guys have, you can use. So we basically want to fill out this table, right? So this is a traditional customer contact plan, and this is a evaluation team kind of table. So who's our customer? What's the role in their buying decision? Are they in the source selection? We can guess. What's their profile? You need to be tactful about these people. So it's like not everybody is easy to work with, right? So rule of thumb for completing this is imagine if this became public, would you be embarrassed by anything that was written in this table? Are they friendly, adversarial, and neutral? Do they know who we are? What is our point of contact and the date of last contact? So who owns that relationship? Who knows that person? And then what are their top 3 hot buttons? What are the things they care about? So in proposals, we write proposals to people. We do not write proposals to the void called the government. There are people on the other side of this that are reading them, and they have hopes, fears, and biases. They have wants, they have care-abouts, they have things that irritate them. We need to know that. The best capture and the best proposals are written to people to give them exactly what they want. Our goal in capture is to find out who those people are who will be making the buying decision and what they care about and what their understanding of the world really is. What's their understanding of these problems? That's what we need to get. So AI cannot replace that right now. It cannot own your relationships. You have to do that. However, AI can come in and help you analyze your meeting notes. If you took a transcript of a meeting, if that was allowed, use that. Hey, what are the things that you think they said? What do you think their hot buttons are? What are the things they didn't say? Like, were there any glaring omissions of things that they tiptoed around that there might be a story about, right? So what are the things they care about? Intelligence gathering. This is AI excels in web data long document analysis, useful in gathering customer and opportunity intelligence and insights, strategy documents, policy documents, roadmaps, inspector general reports, all of these things, budget documents, all of these things are huge and can potentially find some breadcrumbs and can potentially give us some critical insights, but it's a fishing expedition. AI makes that go a lot faster. You can challenge AI to do better with your searches. One thing as you are doing your searches, make sure that you tell AI to include only authoritative sources. Remember those professional blogs. You don't want to be drinking the bathwater of consultants who are out there saying some stuff, because I know several of them that write a lot of newsletters and they just make stuff up. They use AI to write things and you're like, oh, that's not true. They didn't verify that at all. So examine source links provided for further insights. Instead of doing inline research, collect all of the information found into a Word file and paste it into the chat and analyze and interrogate. Yes, it takes longer, but it delivers much more granular results. For example, we were doing competitive analysis on a company, and we went through every single Glassdoor review that we could find on that company, took those comments, put it into AI, and AI gave us a very accurate picture of how the company hires, how the company does business, what the employees are thinking about those programs, and it was a treasure mine, a gold mine of stuff, right? So when we think about what's available for us, we now have the ability to analyze tremendous amounts of information very quickly and see if there's something there. And then we can explore and dive deep into things that we think are promising. Okay. So let's talk about win strategy and teaming. So let's incorporate AI and win strategy. So when I was putting this slide deck together, I was kind of thinking about all of the people I've talked to over the past year, and even the people I've talked to in the past couple of years, because I was a reseller of a proposal AI tool. And a lot of people are dissatisfied with the outputs of AI when it comes to writing proposals. And I kind of dove into why that was and, asked people questions. I've worked with them through, our persuasive writing class. I've worked with them on consulting jobs and found that the biggest issue with using AI for writing proposals, particularly government proposals, is that upfront thinking and that upfront thought isn't there. So for those of you who have been in government contracting for a while, you probably know that you don't win large bids and you don't win consistently by using boilerplate. So a lot of what these companies were doing and these people were doing is that they were having AI go search through their proposal library and write a draft. They're, hey, these are the instructions, this is the evaluation criteria, here's the outline, here's my past proposals. Write me a section. There's some hand waving, and then they'd look at it and they'd read it and they'd be like, well, this isn't very good. And I'm like, well, duh. Proposals are written for people, for specific problems that we're trying to solve. If we don't know what our value proposition is, if we don't know why we should win, if we don't know what we're offering in response to the requirements, nobody can write a good proposal. Not AI, not the best proposal writer. So as I was kind of thinking through those lessons learned over the past couple of years, and to be honest with you, my entire professional career, because I've been doing this for a while, I was like, well, let's talk about how to make those things instead of going into how to prompt AI to write a proposal section. Let's talk about the thought in the work that needs to go into writing a persuasive proposal, regardless of whether you have AI or not. Okay? So very quick, we're going to go over win strategy formulation. Okay? And this is something that's at the heart of my tool. I've been building this workflow. I've been building this process into the software so that AI can help you do the hard parts and to find the golden nuggets and the golden threads. So let's talk about the process of win themes. So when you're talking about win strategy, you start win strategy with win themes. And I'll tell you why here in a minute as we go through this. It'll become obvious, but there are three building blocks of a win theme. Let's jump into the first one, which is the feature. The feature is what we are offering. It's what we are selling in the proposal. It needs to be qualitative or quantitative. It's a person, it's a place, it's a thing, it's a unique technology that maybe only you have. That's a feature, guys. It's a superstar project personnel, features. It's a unique capability, maybe a differentiator, maybe a discriminator, whatever. Those are features. A lot of the feature benefit tables that I read in proposals are really feature tables. The next part of the win theme is the benefit to the customer. And the benefit answers the questions. What's in it for the customer? How so? And so what? We actually have to describe why it matters and why it's valuable. There are 4 kinds of benefits generally. They all boil down to the same 4 things. Something can be better, something can be faster, something can be cheaper, something can be less risky. Those are the 4 general benefits. If we are not writing the statements, our benefit statements, into improved quality, increased speed, man hours saved or cheaper, or lower risk, it is not a benefit. Okay? So features and benefits have to come together. And then proof builds confidence and credibility and makes your features believable. Features and benefits are mandatory in all win theme statements. Proof can appear outside the win theme in the proposal text or in call out boxes or as conclusions or whatever, right? Win themes. And then any gaps in our features, any gaps in our proof points is our win strategy. How do we go about filling those gaps? So the process of this is well, hold on. Whoa, whoops. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. All right, so AI can contribute in developing the robust data-driven proposal themes that help deliver effective win strategies, compile hot buttons. Okay, so the steps of the process aren't on here. However, your hot buttons are the most important outputs of engaging with your customers and gathering intelligence. So we are trying to find out who our customers are, and then we need to find out what they actually care about. So we need to go talk to them about things, okay? Or we need to talk to people who know those people very well. And there's plenty of consultants, especially now, after all of those people got laid off and fired and doged. There's a lot of people out there on LinkedIn who would do a side consulting job and tell you everything you need to know about the people who are left, what they care about, and what their hot buttons are. So we as capture managers, as proposal professionals, if you're a proposal manager and you don't have capture, this is something that we need to do, right? So what are the hot buttons of the people who are going to be reading our proposal? Hopes, fears, biases. Those hot buttons are actually the benefits in disguise. So you need to rewrite them into those quality or better, faster, cheaper, or less risky statements first. Before we look at ourselves, it is hot buttons and benefits. Then, once we have those written, a lot of times what we'll find is that our customer intelligence has gaps in it. We are making assumptions that we need to verify, or we just don't know things. And we need to go brainstorm on who those people are. How can we get in front of them? How can we get this information? This is the core of engaging with your customer and feeding it into a win strategy. Because what we are trying to do is find the features and the proof points that deliver those benefits that our solution has to have. So we are brainstorming on the benefits that our solution needs to provide. There will be a lot of them, okay? So at the proposal level, you're looking at like 5 to 10 proposal level win themes. In the major sections, you're looking at 5 to 10 in the major sections. You need a lot of win themes. So we need a lot of intel on what the customer cares about in each one of these things. You'll know that you've done it correctly when you read the debrief and the government copy and pasted your win themes and pasted them into the debrief. In the justification and award, I mean. The best proposal we ever wrote was 10 pages, a debrief, and it was all copy and pasted our win themes. We got a perfect score, excellent throughout Oh, we've written many of them like that, but uh, perfect score, excellent, outstanding, every single section. Copy and pasted win themes. You need to generate a lot of these. But starting with the hot button benefit framework and then going to go and find your features and proof and looking objectively, saying, hey, do we have anything that can deliver these benefits? No. All right, well, that's a gap. That's a strategic action item. We need to go and fill it. Either through teaming or hiring or changing the requirements. We need to communicate messages to the customer. Same thing with proof points. If we don't have a proof point for it, it's our features and benefits are unsubstantiated. So we can develop the prompt to suggest features of the approach that speak to the hot buttons. Note that some of these suggestions may result in gaps and may turn into strategic action items. And we can develop prompts to find proof points from past performance or identify gaps if proof points are unavailable. So we built Win More BD to automate this piece. That human intelligence is one thing that will not go away. So this is something that I had to do as a consultant over many, many years of winning large contracts. It used to take a very long time. Now it doesn't take quite as long, and we can focus more on that customer intelligence and that customer engagement, that relationship building. It really hurt me professionally when I found that our AI was rewriting win themes better than I wrote them, and I was like, oh man, oh that hurt. But I'm over it. So we can also use AI for competitive insight. So use the AI tools to identify and research competitors, identify and analyze incumbents, identify other competitors using AI and USA spending combination, advanced AI use techniques combining AI with other tools. So there's a lot of intel that's out there. Identify competitors that may be on the same team. So sometimes you can find that information in the subcontractor information in FPDS. Check to see if the company has outgrown its statuses, such as 8A and small businesses. Use incumbent information web scraping. Perform internet searches using negative terms for the industry: failure, mishap, incident, safety violation. That's there twice. Lawsuit, merger, acquisition, etc. Right? So AI has tremendous capabilities to go and conduct competitive analysis. We're building that into our tool, but that is something that should become more prevalent now. A lot of people would skip competitive analysis because it took too long. Well, the capabilities are there to find out what people are doing, what they're talking about, especially like if you're bidding against small businesses and the owner is out there all the time talking at different industry events and putting out blogs and press releases, you guys should really know that. And AI can help you compile all of that stuff because it's likely they're pushing a lot of those approaches in their proposals. So if you're thinking about outdoing your competitor's strengths, you can ghost them by saying these approaches that they're likely going to bid aren't going to work. Here's why. And this is why we chose this approach. Those are very powerful win themes and results of competitive analysis. Now it's not as difficult as it used to be. Once you do that analysis once you have your gap analysis of features and proof points and maybe even benefits if you need to find partners with the customer relationships that you don't have, now we can use part AI to help team and make those teaming decisions. So we can evaluate their past performance. We can evaluate their capabilities statements and whatever information they provide to us and feed that into a gap analysis. So we can list out all of the major tasks of the statement of work. Maybe there's a draft RFP, maybe we're using the old one and we're updating it based on our competitive or our customer engagement, postulating their requirements, and then evaluating whose past performance meets the best. And we can use potential partners using USA. So what I've done is I have developed, a prompt for us. All right, so as you guys get the slides, this is a prompt that we've been using for a couple years now that delivers really good teaming value propositions. Okay, So there's a lot of work that goes into developing these things, but once you have what you think your value prop is, you can use this prompt to plug it into your AI and develop those partner statements that you can then take to your partners and say, hey, you should team with me because here's why. But you also have to include what they're going to get and also their role in it. Like, hey, we would be a superstar team because you bring this, we bring this. Combined together, you guys are better at this thing than we are, and I think that we're better than you at this thing than you are. Coming together, it would be a slam dunk. Okay. But in general, the process is we can sort companies that fill our gaps by revenue, like how much revenue, how much obligations do they have, because that's generally their core competencies. Identify the ones with the highest revenue and use AI to analyze their list of projects for relevancy, size, and recency. Populate the statement of work matrix with the company's past performance information. Select the company you would like to work on with first instead of the one you may know or have the relationship with, because our goal is to get the best team, not the people we've worked together in the past or the people we're comfortable with. If you do this early enough, sometimes those awesome companies that you don't want to compete against haven't decided to go after this opportunity. And you might be able to swoop them up as a key subcontractor and you can avoid competition with them. Use AI to suggest a teaming strategy and the value proposition, the reasons the other company should team with you. Okay. So you can, once you have all of that stuff, you can read through this and put it in whatever AI you use, and you should get pretty good stuff out of it. All right. So with that, I've been talking about our AI a lot. We're launching our platform on December 17th, and we are giving a steep discount off the first year license. So you'll get 5 licenses to the Win More BD platform at a 33% discount. And we're also going to throw in 5 licenses to OST's complete training catalog, which we sell for $12,000 a piece. So that's a $60,000 value. That is included with the first year cost of the licensing. So you can, you'll also receive white glove implementation from me and other people at OST and shape the features of our roadmap. You can check out our website here. You can schedule a meeting and subscribe to our newsletter. All right. So let's go. Wow, we have a lot of questions. Holy crap.
Thank you. Thank you, David. That was excellent. Really, really informative. So yes, here's your chance to ask David any questions. I know there's been a lot of discussion in the chat.
Yeah.
So if you posted a question earlier on, please retype it so we don't miss it. And we'll try, and we have 15 minutes left. So here's your chance to ask us questions and ask him to go over anything that you missed earlier on. I will also be posting some links in the chat for future classes.
All right. So the first, well, some of it is, a lot of them are comments. So yes, the recording, the slides are going to be available. There's a lot of people who liked what I said, which is nice. How does this work for federal standard forms like the 330? Kathleen, I'm not really sure what you mean there. So if you could get some more detail in your question, I can answer it. Cuts the learning curve, anything by a simple amount. We used to pay so much for gathering intel and upcoming bids. Now so much of that can be automated. Yes, it can. If you can afford it, I recommend getting more than one account. I use Gemini, ChatGPT, and Copilot, which is mostly built on OpenAI, yes. So not quite a third option. And then triangulate across, yeah. I do that too. They will give you different ideas, inputs, critiques, and in my opinion, the more polished your proposals are, the better. 100% right. Oh wow. Okay, so literally never seen anyone in Capture use a Kanban board with post-its all over the walls, bias based on Agile, Scrum Alliance, donations to OpenAI. I mean, I do a lot of Capture brainstorming with post-its, or at least I used to. We've used different technology now, but For hot buttons brainstorming, when you're talking about win strategy, this is actually a really effective use. So if you have a Kanban board, it's kind of awesome to do silent brainstorming and let people put in their thoughts, because sometimes you have dominant personalities who take over all of the, you know, all of the air in the room. So we want to make sure we allow enough room for other people to put their inputs as well. And then as people are reading other people's inputs, they can build on them, just like you do in Agile. So absolutely. Can you also ask the AI to help you with prompts? So if it doesn't give you what you're looking for, explain why it wasn't what you want. Absolutely. Just like a person, you have to give it feedback, right? So AI will break your question into multiple pieces and rewrite it or explore it from different angles. And sometimes it gets wrong. That's okay. Maybe we didn't give it everything we needed. Maybe it made some wrong assumptions. It's okay. Work with it, give it feedback just like you would a person. You can also train it to write like you by uploading past examples of your writing and asking it to profile your writing style and remember it, etc. Yes, you can. You are truly only limited by your imagination and your discernment about the quality of your outputs and feedback on how to make it better. 100%. So, Beta, you are 1,000% right. I agree with you. I don't know the answer to that. That's just some conversation. How can we withdraw our sensitive information from ChatGPT if already used, not realizing the LLMs is storing my data for training purposes? I don't think you can. So, at least I haven't heard about it. Think of it as an incredibly talented new assistant who has incredible potential, but obviously can't read your mind. You need to be clear about what you want and how you want it, what format, etc., and you need to give it feedback and share your final product so that it learns what excellent looks like by your standards. Beta, again, you're on it. That's really good. Um, mm, yeah, Ruby, I'm sorry about the slides being strong or the words being small. I will. Hopefully, it'll be a little bit easier on this when we release the slides and you can zoom in. Uh, Good advice. Beta is another expert in the chat. She's giving awesome stuff. Have you run into any issues security-wise with using AI and the federal CMMC security requirement? Which AI platforms have you found to be useful and compliant to the new security requirements? Okay, so I haven't found any. I think maybe one. AutoGen AI, I think is the only one. All of them, all of the AI tools are trying to get access or comply with CMMC requirements. So for those of you who don't know, DoD is moving to controlled unclassified solicitations, and they're requiring extensive cybersecurity and IT policies to ensure that the storage, transmission, and handling of CUI information all throughout the supply chain, so all the way down to your vendors, is strictly controlled and that it's auditable, as in the government audits you, or they don't audit. Okay, so you have to get an audit that you are complying with these standards, I think once a year, something, or every other year, not sure. We are building our platform in AWS GovCloud, and we are heading towards FedRAMP equivalency. Until we get that, we cannot handle CUI data. And from what I understand, you are certifying, when you are going through your CMMC certification, you are certifying your boundary of where that data lives, or where that CUI data lives. And any derivative products from that CUI data, so like all of your proposals and things that were based on the CUI solicitations, and whatever CUI data goes into it, has to stay there, right? So you're basically saying, this is my boundary. I don't know if you can see me or not, but you're drawing a boundary and you're saying all of the CUI data lives there. It cannot go outside of that boundary. Here's all the attachments to that boundary and how we ensure that it doesn't leak. So we're building our system to be able to bring in the best of LLMs while maintaining the CUI data boundary correctly. So Whatever tool you're using, ensure that you talk to them about CUI before you load any CUI data into it, because you're responsible for that. So that's a big thing. DoD is going to start enforcement next year and start coming down on people who have been loose with the rules. So if you are a DoD contractor, you are probably aware of this already, but it is pretty expensive to get that certification. So that's what I know about that. Let's see. I pay $20 a month for ChatGPT 5.1 that David Huff referenced. I highly recommend it for business-related work and save. Yeah, I use it too. That's great. We actually have the business account, so we can share projects across teammates. So that's something that you can use now. How can I contact you for more information? So I'll put my email and phone number in the chat if you'd like to reach out to me. So that's my email. My cell phone is 513-316-0993. So you can call or text, whatever. You can go to this website. You can literally click on that link and it will schedule a meeting with me. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Description of the AI, fundamentals, BD. Hey, you guys are very welcome. I hope you all enjoyed it. Slides and videos will be available. All right. Hello, Dave. I'm looking to hire a person or group of people to come aboard my company to do BD capture work for equity stake and wins. Any suggestions? People who do stuff for free on a contingency generally aren't that good. So they would need, if you're going to give them equity, I've been working with businesses for a long time, and I know that there's a lot of issues that come up when you have equity partners. So I would say that you should be very, very careful of who you give equity to, because they have rights and they can make your life miserable. So make sure that whoever you are bringing on, that they are, one, a real partner. Anybody that's owned a business knows that who your partners are matter a lot in your quality of life. It's like choosing a spouse. So you may actually spend more time with them than your spouse. So make sure you like them, that they're trustworthy, and that you trust them with your money, because it can be very expensive to untangle that stuff. So what I would recommend is look at a different way to share whatever cash is left over instead of equity. So be very careful about that. If you want to schedule some time with me, I'm happy to talk you through more of it. All right, Yasmin put in all of the links there. All right, you shared a lot of how-tos, but for micro small companies with some past performance, do you have strategies tailored to micro small companies? Yeah, you gotta be the chief everything officer. So unfortunately, you have to do the sales, do the operations, do the contracts, do the administration. So this should actually help you a lot, getting a lot more stuff done. So the most important thing that you could work on as a small business owner of either a one or two person or a small business is sales. So we have a tendency, a lot of small business owners and a lot of executives have a tendency to be project people, and they're just more comfortable working on the projects and doing delivery. Fine. You got to get outside your comfort zone and you got to go find the sales. So sales training is amazing. Business development training, amazing. But I would say the majority of your time should be spent in finding new business and figuring out how to close that business. So all of this stuff would be relevant to you. You may not have to do all of it with such a rigor that I talked about here, but these are tools in the toolbox for you to use for when the situations come up. So I've been a small business owner for a long time. I know how it is. And I certainly know how it is doing the sales for the work that then I have to go perform. So I'm very empathetic, but sales. If you're only using GFE and don't process any data on your company equipment, do those CUI requirements still apply? It depends on, I don't know, actually, that's a good question. If there is no CUI data going through the GFE, then you should be fine. You mentioned Perplexity as a research tool. What other AI tools do you recommend for government contractors? I use ChatGPT 5.1. I use Claude. Uh, there's a bajillion of them. It seems like there's new ones every day. So I would just experiment with the ones that you like and the ones you don't like. So that's the best I could say there. All right. Don't see his contact info. Okay. You guys are most welcome. What is your take on creating AI agents to help with your business? Oh, yeah. So AI agents is a buzzword. One of the things that we actually did some experimentation with that to begin with, and it's on our roadmap to build them. The hardest part about the AI agents is the orchestration. So it's actually pretty easy to create the AI agents. What is difficult is breaking up the tasks and assigning it to the agents and then consolidating and scoring and synthesizing all of those inputs before it comes to you. That's the real hard part. So agents are awesome, but it's that how do you bring it all together and give it back to the users? So there's a lot of potential there, but that orchestration is very, very difficult. All right, guys. So that is it. Did I? Oh, I only sent to Eric Bonsu. I apologize. I need to send to everybody. All right. So my email address is going in the chat. Feel free to drop me a line if you want to chat. I'll also put my cell phone number in there too. If you want to call me, text me, feel free. So that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed the course or the session, and available to chat for anything you'd like. And Yasmin, thanks for having me, and hope to see you guys on the next one.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely amazing. I don't know how you talk nonstop for 2 hours. I certainly couldn't do that. But you did an excellent job, and I'm going to be sharing the slides, which you're going to send over to me now, right, David?
Yes, I'm going to send these to you now, I
Okay.
promise.
And then the recording will be available on our YouTube channel probably in another hour or two. It takes a while to render. But I'd like to thank everybody for participating and asking great questions. And we only have one more class left before the end of the year. I posted the link in the chat. It will be coming up on how to do the defense industrial base. So that's with our resident instructor, Akisha. So please do not miss out on that. So
That
thanks
sounds
again,
awesome.
David. You can go and have a cup of tea or a cup of
Yeah.
coffee now.
Yeah, my throat hurts. I need more water.
Right. Well done. Well done. And thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.
See you guys.